Hi everyone, I'm Adam, co-founder at Airspeed. I'm here with Thomas Rubens, managing partner at DN Capital. We're in front of DN Capital offices. We're going to King's Cross, the fastest growing AI hub in the world. We've got 10 minutes in our cab, so let's go. So Thomas, you at DN Capital, you've been investing in software for 25 years, multiple unicorn exits from seed, from Series A. What made you invest in Airspeed?
Look, there are several factors. So we've been investing in software for 25 years. I've been at the firm for 15 years. I've had the opportunity to sit on many boards of companies going from seed, Series A to unicorns. And the one thing I've seen sitting on boards is still this lack of clarity across the organizations or what is happening with customers. Why do customers choose us? Why they decide not to choose us? Why are we losing deals? Why are deals not progressing? How is sales communicating with product? You know, you always have those issues, right? Where product is not sure what the customers want. Sales reps are also selling product that the management team is not yet prioritizing. And so just finding a way to have a solution that drives all of those unbiased insights and help those CEOs and management teams drive strategic, productive work is what gets me excited about Airspeed. But I know there's a lot of product, a lot of complexity to solve here. So excited to dig more into how you're thinking about that sequencing to get to that commercial brain vision inside of Airspeed.
Nice. I mean, it's funny because it's kind of the things that you mentioned. It's a lot of them fall kind of under the initial promise of CRMs that you know, CRMs initially promised there'll be the one place where you go to make these decisions, where you go look for the data, but no one really delivered that because it was reliant on human labor, human data input, human data analysis. And now kind of what we did at Airspeed, our first thing was really, how can we take all this data, structure it so that you can then kind of have that understanding and can make those decisions yourself.
Yeah. That's an interesting point. I mean, you talked about CRMs, and when we're thinking about, you know, kind of our investment hypothesis and why we want to play in the kind of commercial brain category is, obviously there was the first wave of CRMs. 25 years ago, with Salesforce created several $100 billion types of outcomes. Then there were the analytic tools that were sitting on top of those platforms, which drove, you know, some quality companies like Gong, you know, in the multi-billion types of businesses. But what we're seeing now with the advancements of LLMs is really moving from those systems of records to the systems of actions. And we think not only this will make over time some of the solutions obsolete, but also increase much more the market as you become more productive. So when we think about the CRM and how it's going to evolve over the next 10 years, really for us, we have the sense that CRMs today is a bit like Google search 2 years ago, right? And now we're seeing that no one, or almost, you know, the amount of search that you're doing on Google search relative to the LLMs is reducing at incredible speed. Because now you're no longer searching for that information in that way. You're asking for productive work to happen within the LLMs. And I think Airspeed can really deliver the same thing around the commercial brain over time.
I mean, the way I see it is that execution is really the next frontier in AI. I think a lot of it kind of until now has been around insights, have been about data curation, etc. But it's really, everyone is always interested in execution eventually. And it's there, we see it in software engineering, where right now you can really kind of go from an idea or an intent to an end product much faster. And I think this is coming to other functions as well. It's coming to go-to-market, it's coming to operations. It's gonna take a bit longer because there's unique challenges. For example, in go-to-market, you're actually dealing with, you know, people on the other side. That's one thing. The other thing, and most people actually don't realize, you've got a lot more data in go-to-market, in sales conversations, in customer conversations than you've got in software engineering. And so the whole problem from a technical perspective is also more difficult.
And, you know, talking about this commercial brain and how you're connecting different departments inside of the organizations, maybe take us through some examples of what you're seeing at Airspeed, of how you're leveraging Airspeed internally and unearthing those unbiased insights within conversations that your sales reps are having with clients to direct or help you build out your product roadmap. Has this already had, you know, that kind of insights for you?
Yes. So I mean, it's interesting because it's, you know, engineering is, I think that's the frontier of where AI is being used. But it's interesting that we can ingest a lot of that in information that we've got in customer conversations in that process as well. And so one example that I have is, for example, on pull requests when we kind of make submit new data features, we have a system on Airspeed that automatically pulls relevant customer customer quotes, customer requests on that pull request as well. And so when you're reviewing that code, when you're thinking about that code, you've got that customer context in there.
So one thing that really got us excited at our time of investment is to really, when we start going really deep under the hood of the company and this contextual graph, the actual level of complexity to deliver those insights for the different constituents within inside of an organization to be productive and delight the customers at the same time is extremely complex. And I would love for you to take us through, some of the more architecture and really going deep in this kind of contextual graph. What is your R&D team kind of spending time on, and what are the complex challenges that you need to overcome?
Yeah, it's a really good question, because the amount of data that we process is huge. It's all the conversations, it's product signals, kind of all that stuff being ingested and made sense of. We start with ingesting those conversations, and it's actually really important for us to have all the primary data capture covered within Airspeed. We know kind of in the early days we're looking at different options, and we knew that if we wanted to deliver that delightful experience, as you mentioned, and also very fast experience, we needed to own all that primary data capture, so that then we can kind of kick off all the workflows, kick off all the analyses right away. Things that we do there is, for example, if I just take sales conversations, for us it's really, why are they talking to us? How do they find us? What kind of problems are we solving them? Who are we talking to in that company, in that potential buyer? Kind of all this information we ingest, we structure, and then we also aggregate across all the conversations that happen in your organization, so that we build a playbook for this specific geo, for this specific vertical, and for this specific persona that we talk to. These are kind of some of the first steps that we do in order to really understand what your go-to-market motion is, and so that we've got that kind of the playbooks ready.
What I like as well is when going through the product is really the nuances you're able to capture, which really, for me, at the end of the day, that's what gets me excited, right? Is all of those nuances, especially in the more complex sales processes, in order to really help the organization be more productive, understand what are the bottlenecks in getting a deal through, and be able to proactively act on those signals rather than wait for some potentially negative feedback.
Yeah, and kind of as you say, the nuances are really what makes all the difference. We learn a lot of things over the course of using Airspeed. Also what your product is, how you sell, how it works, but also kind of all the pain points and use cases that it solves for the buyers.
Great. So Airspeed has been going through phenomenal growth. Also, one thing that really impressed us is the stellar gross dollar retention, and the net dollar retention is through the roof, right? What has impressed you the most or surprised you the most about how Airspeed kind of spreads through your customers' organization?
It's we're super excited about that. Kind of as product builders, we always want to see the product grow within our users. We normally start with the sales teams, but very quickly on, they share the outputs, or actually the rest of the team sees some of the Airspeed outputs in Slack or elsewhere, and kind of start being curious, want to get onto the platform. And so very often we do get product leadership on the platform very quickly to understand, what's really blocking revenue, or what our users love, or how, what do they get really excited about in conversations. And similarly, this can spread to other teams as well. Very often customer success is next, because eventually you should really be managing the whole customer journey in a single platform. We feel like there's a big reset happening in terms of tech stack in general in the world, and people do want to are looking for solutions that are very simple to use, but at the same time really deliver that value. And Airspeed is one of them.
So you've recently released this kind of long-awaited agentic workflows in early Q2, and this has taken off quite amazingly inside of your customers. Like, help me understand, what are those agentic workflows? Why are customers loving it? And what does that mean for you in terms of building out the solution going forward?
Yeah, so we released it recently, but the usage has really gone through the roof. The way we thought about building this product is really, we first need to build that commercial brain data foundation, really understanding emotion, why you're winning, what you're trying to accomplish, all that stuff. When that's in place, which we have in place, we want to go and automate as much of the workflows that your team does as possible. We're not saying we're going to automate sales end to end, but there's definitely workflows that should be automated, whether that's your account research, whether that's setting up your outbound sequences, whether it's re-engaging your stalled deals. All these workflows that reps do kind of in between conversations, we wanted to see how much of that can we own and take off their plate. And I think that's kind of, people have been waiting for this because mostly people don't enjoy doing this. They want to be with their customers. They want to be thinking about deals. They want to be engaging other stakeholders, and kind of always do this in the evenings or in between conversations. So I think that's why, it's one of the reasons why it took off that fast.
Now onto my personal favorite, forecasting. Is it an art? Is it a science? I know you're about to release, or you just released the forecasting module. I'm really excited about it. Tell me more.
No, super excited about this release. We gave early access to our users just a few days ago. Forecasting is really central to any organization, and it's both science and art, but we wanted to bring a lot more science to it. Forecasting requires a lot of qualitative assessments, across many different levels within the organization. Reps need to forecast their deals. It gets rolled up to their managers all the way to the CRO. And what we do is we've got that 360 view of everything that's happening in the organization. We've got the historical data as well, so that we can roll that up into one really accurate forecast for the organization.
So now let's go on into a very exciting topic: international expansion. You open up the New York office earlier this year, right after we finalized the Series A investment. I met the team, could not be more excited about the team that you've put together. Take us through some of the kind of challenges to expand an organization in such an important market.
We always wanted to build a global company. We started in London, but kind of if you want to win this in this space, you need to win globally. That means you also need to win in the US. And so US was actually one of our big markets from the early days, but we're always selling remotely, which you can do until a certain point, but eventually you hit a wall. And so it was great to actually team up on this one. The DN's Capital network in the US has been super useful for us with introductions to CROs, advisors. That really helped us both kind of get into that network, but also make sure to understand who we should hire, who we should work with, where we should hire as well. That question is a big one as well. And so, yeah, it's been really, really good working on this together.
And now it's good to see that actually many of them have invested in the company, which is a testament to the quality of the solution and their excitement for what you guys are building.
And we're super excited to be working with them, because it's really, I mentioned that earlier. It's really, we're going through this reset in how people think about their tech stack, how they think about execution in general, and it's great to be working with people who've seen several decades of execution in revenue.